Hey, a warm welcome to another episode of the Monday Morning Learning Podcast. This is Ravi Jagarlapudi from Acuity. Very happy and excited to have Suresh Neelakantan from NEC. Suresh, warm welcome to my podcast. I'll do a quick intro professionally. Do you want to say anything before we start off?
Hey, thank you, Ravi. It's a pleasure talking to you again after such a long time.
Great. So, talking about Suresh, he's done his master's at Sri Satyasai Institute of Higher Learning and has kept himself in the continuous learning journey by pursuing his executive education at Columbia Business School and MIT Sloan, where he mastered digital strategies for business. Suresh is an accomplished banking professional and digital banking subject matter expert. He managed systems, people across boundaries and cultures in multinational banks and implemented digital initiatives across markets covering Western Europe, Middle East, Africa, and Asia. Oh man, big man. All right. So now he is the head of innovation and development digital finance at the Value Chain Innovation Laboratory at NEC Asia Pacific Private Limited. Again, warm welcome to you, Suresh. As we discussed, there are 4 themes for this particular podcast. The first one, let's talk about your innovation journey at the variety of organizations which you have worked on. And specifically, I'm interested at the Value Chain Innovation Laboratory, the kind of innovation you have done at NEC. We'll start with that. And then we'll move on to how did you manage digital initiatives across a variety of countries. And the last 2 themes will be on the layoffs and how do we prepare for layoffs and who are the ones who we influence. So those are the 4 themes that we're going to talk about. So let's start about innovation. I mean, well, I did hear you out when we spoke the last time. What's the kind of experience you had with innovation, Suresh?
See, over the period of time, one thing I realized is innovation is not always about inventing new things. Innovation is primarily about connecting the dots.
Great. Yes.
This is what I've learned working across different initiatives. Probably I was fortunate from the time I started my career being in transformation journey always.
Right. Okay.
So that gave me an experience of understanding that when you start a transformation journey, the primary that comes up is change management.
Right. Absolutely.
Understanding people, understanding the requirements, and understanding the solution that can offer that change in them.
Absolutely.
And then supporting the change process.
Yeah.
So in that context, what I realized after working 20 plus years in different financial institutions and across different markets, implementing different kind of a change management initiatives, I realized that innovation is all about connecting the dots.
Absolutely.
And this has helped me in my transition when I joined NEC Asia Pacific to be part of the Value Chain Innovation Lab in early 2021. This helped me a lot in my journey in transitioning from working from financial institutions to be part of a large Japanese conglomerate.
All right. Okay.
So, yeah. So it has been a great support for me to move from that journey.
Excellent. All right. Great. Specifically, can you talk to us in terms of how do you define and conceptualize a digital finance strategy and moving on to a business model innovation? I'm very interested in your recent, I think, talk on frictionless, cardless, and phoneless payment experiences. So that basically 3 questions in one question. Let's look at your inputs on digital finance strategy. Where I'm coming from, Suresh, is typically a management grad stepping into your company, NEC, and wanting to know about digital finance. How can you help them conceptualize and execute a digital finance strategy?
Yeah. A beautiful question, Ravi. Let me just start with my journey in this process right from 2021 when we started in NEC.
Yeah.
We started with a very, very clear slate. We did not have, while we had an objective of building and offering capability or a new service to the market, very much specific on digital finance. This was the objective. Okay. But we did not want to build a product and then push it to the customer.
Right, absolutely.
We wanted to look at things from a customer point of view and identify the demand.
Right.
So in that journey, when we started with an empty slate, we started writing a few hypotheses.
Right.
And then from there, we drilled down to test our hypothesis, we drilled down into a few sets of problem statements and started building prototypes.
All right. Okay.
We wanted to test these prototypes with the relevant target customers. So what we did is we started testing these prototypes with the target customers and identifying, hey, is this your problem statement? Is our understanding appropriate?
Right.
Okay. It so happened that out of a set of few prototypes, few things came up very prominent. Then we started agreeing with some of them saying, hey, are you keen to do a proof of concept with us? So we evolved from being a static prototype into an working proof of concept with them. Again, our objective in the journey was we invested in this journey. We co-created in this journey to identify, hey, do you really have a problem statement? Is there a product opportunity in this? So after doing, we did quite a good number of large proof of concepts.
Excellent.
And then we identified in this journey that a set of problems which were clearly called out during our engagement. Okay, I'm not getting into the specifics of it. I'm just calling out the journey.
Absolutely.
From there, as we speak today, we are in a state where we have an MVP going live, a minimum viable product going live, and we are working on the go-to-market, and we are currently in good number of customers as a discussion with them for us to go live with the capability.
Excellent.
So the point is, the challenge comes in is you have failures when you start building a product out of your own assumption and then start pushing it through the throat of the customer.
Great. Yep.
Then you have a challenge of identifying the product. Rather, if you do other way around, understand what your customer wants, invest upfront with the customer, engage the customer upfront, and start building solutions that can support the customer needs.
Excellent. Excellent.
What we are looking at is
you drive innovation through co-creation and partnerships. So I think that's coming very obvious, Suresh. Great.
Yes, absolutely. And then what is important, Ravi, here is partnership and co-creation with the right level of support coming in.
Absolutely.
We look at partnership from few different perspectives. Customer, your end users. Right. If you have the opportunity, invest along with your end users, and then you co-create. You need to invest in this.
Right.
You need to take a different approach. You cannot take a system integrator approach where you say, hey, I need money upfront. Rather, you invest in the journey. Look at the journey. You need to identify and be clear that I'm not competing. I'm rather partnering.
Absolutely.
In my journey, I look at the ecosystem. Ecosystem as a whole. If I do not have a capability, I bring in partners who can join and offer me the capability.
Yes.
We strongly believe in the Lego model. We strongly believe in the Lego model. We build the base, or if somebody else already has a base and I know that, hey, this is a capability, if I go start building it from scratch, it's going to take me 2 years in the journey. Right. Rather, if I borrow this partner with this enterprise, it could be a fintech, or it could be a large enterprise, or it could be a financial institution. And on top of it, if I add my value proposition, when you go into the market, it is much, much bigger.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
So it's very much partnership driven, ecosystem driven, and we do good number of co-creation here.
Excellent. Excellent.
And we change the way we do business. We are changing the way, because innovation is not just, as I was telling you, innovation is very much about connecting the dots. Yeah. So it's not just about offering a new product, but also offering a new business model, identifying a new revenue stream.
Absolutely.
A classic example is when you look at the market, especially Asia Pacific, right?
Yeah.
A tier 1 bank has sufficient cash, right? They have good budget. But if you go next tier 2, tier 3 banks, they are too stuck about their capex, their upfront investment. So in that context, if I give them a comfort about, hey, how can I give you a model that will not bite you, but we could do a revenue share, or we could do a model which is profitable, which is operationally efficient for both of us.
Yeah, it's a win-win for both.
It's a win-win for all of us in this journey. It's a win-win for all of us. It's a win-win for all of us in the journey.
Great.
It is similar to your SaaS models.
Absolutely. So is this a new feature coming in, the frictionless, cardless, and phoneless payment? Is this a new feature coming in for NEC products?
Oh, that's a great question. Again, this is something where, I mean, just to give you a context, NEC is a world leader in the space of biometrics. Okay. While predominantly in the past we focused on the public safety side of business. Okay. Border controls and public safety.
Yeah.
But having said that, how can we bring in this solution into the banking side of space?
Right.
There are a few aspects where we could bring in. One, in the case of, see, the biggest challenge in terms, if you're doing an KYC, if you are doing a offshore customer engagement, impersonation risk becomes an biggest challenge.
True.
Okay, that is one space. That's one space for an offshore banking customers. If you are doing payments, or if you're doing any kind of checkouts that you're doing in a merchant, right? Your identification and authentication becomes a challenge, right?
Yeah.
I need to carry a physical card, or I need to carry my wallet, or even a mobile, right? So what we are offering is, in partnership with some of the payment aggregators and the payment enterprises, including financial institutions, use just your face.
Right.
You just go, walk in, and then just smile, and then do your payment and move on.
That's great.
The beauty is, one, we are secure, very secure, and then it is seamless customer experience.
Absolutely. So
in that context, the chances of you replicating my face is very, 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 very minimal. It's because we get questions around, hey, can I clone or create a face mask similar to Suresh? Can you recognize? Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
A liveness detection is part of our solution. So in that context, it has the security without compromising anything on the security, but key focus is customer experience without compromising on the security. So that's a space which we are working. Hopefully, we will have a customer acquisition happening in the future.
Excellent. Lovely journey, Suresh. Really very inspiring. I see that you'll be managing large-scale digital initiatives, right? And again, the question comes from, let's say, a management grad wanting to learn about how do we manage larger kind of projects. Any hints and tips would you like to give to a management grad in terms of managing larger kind of digital initiatives, Suresh?
See, I will go back to what I said before.
Sure.
The key is managing the change.
Right.
Okay. When I say managing the change, you need to understand first clearly about identifying the different sets of stakeholders coming in.
Right.
Yeah. The way I look at things is, I look at stakeholders right from the top to the bottom, who is managing the end delivery. And we need to look at the partnerships across, not just, you cannot be siloed looking at the business or only the team which is delivering the solution.
Right.
You need to look at how you are impacting your frontline, how you are impacting your operations, how you are impacting your compliance, your regulation, your regulatory compliance, your audits, right? Your information security, etc., etc. So you need to involve all the different impacted individuals and understand them. So this is part of your change management. Absolutely. That means engaging at the right time, offering, taking their input as we build the scoping, and then implementing them and keeping them part of the journey. This is very important.
Absolutely.
When I say part of the journey, is not from the perspective of just capturing the requirements of building a scoping, but also making sure you are validating regularly with them on the changes. Absolutely. Right? And communicating. Right. The other area where most of the large technology initiatives fail is poor communication. Right. There will be technology initiatives happening, but neither your front office or a frontline doesn't know about it, nor your operations or compliance is aware of it. Mostly it's last minute things comes in. Then you will have failures. Absolutely. Okay. Because it is important to have your regulatory compliance, everyone being involved upfront. So the communication, the periodic communication is very key. The third aspect is trainings. Right. training them appropriately. If there is a failure, because large change management includes failure.
Absolutely.
If there is a failure, what happens? Okay. Because at the end of the day, change, all these transformation journey cannot have an impact to the customer. If there's a change, if there's a failure, the failure handling is critical.
Absolutely.
Okay. So that's how I look at it. For me, it's a change management process.
Absolutely. Now, Suresh, where do you see the synergy of data and technology in advancing working capital finance? I see that, I think there's a conference which has happened some time back. Just want to explore your ideas on this.
Again, this is something very closer to what we are doing.
Yeah.
Data makes a huge difference. If you talk to the CFOs from large enterprises, the first thing they would tell you is datas are very the data today is very much siloed.
Right.
It is geo-specific or business entity specific.
Yeah.
And they do not get a complete single view of the data.
Yeah.
A classic example is, if I'm a regional CFO, I want to look at my complete financial health check of my large enterprise. I don't get that, or even if I get that, it is manually done.
Right.
It comes with a lot of error. Yeah. Please understand, most of these large enterprises are running on fantastic ERP platforms. Yeah. Okay. Without naming any, they are running on fantastic ERP platforms. But having said that, still the data resides in a silo. So what is the need of the hour is consolidating and giving this as a view, right? As giving them a clear view. Even when you look at the maturity level of the data today, it is predominantly, it is either what happened or why it has happened.
Right. Yes.
Meaning it is not yet into even the predictive level of data utilization.
Right.
So there is a huge opportunity for us to move from the stage of what and why into being more predictive and aware. Absolutely. If I look at my my financial health check, I should be able to look at my account receivables. I should be clearly able to see my cash flow and my cash conversion cycle. Yeah. Looking at my cash conversion cycle, can I simulate? That means I should use the data. I should be able to predict, either it's an AI model where I give you a model where I can predict this based on this cash, your current, or is your cash conversion cycle optimal? Yeah. What can you do? If I am a predominant buyer, what should I do? If I'm a predominant seller, what should I do? What kind of working capital financing I could go in? Absolutely. For me to optimize my working capital. That's the kind of intelligence that is needed, and there is a huge demand for this space as well, where we are working very closely with some of our partner enterprises. And this is a space where it would make a huge difference from a data and working capital management point of view. Yeah.
Absolutely, Suresh. Thank you so much for those insights. Moving on, Suresh, layoffs are the new normal. That's given. So how does one prepare for a layoff? Someone actually working in a corporate, how does one, should he or she actually prepare for a layoff even before it happens, or what's your view on that?
See, Ravi, again, a very relevant and related question. Having worked in the transformation side of business, while I was emphasizing on change management, layoff, or any kind of an organizational change, organizational restructuring, right sizing, etc., are also part of change management.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So in that context, the way I prepare myself or I prepare my team is very different, in the sense that when I look at team structuring as well, I would like to keep it optimal. I always encourage my team to, if you need to look at your resourcing, do not overstaff. And use to an optimal utilization of your resources. Yeah. The reason why I say this is, when you overstaff, you have a situation where you need to do a right sizing. Yeah. You don't want your people to be impacted. Absolutely. So in that context, planning itself upfront is very important. I believe in ethical planning of resourcing as well. Absolutely. So in that context, the impact to this people, impact to the people whom you are hiring is relatively limited.
Absolutely.
So going back to what I said in the beginning, it's all about change management.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Second space is when this happens. In that context, how prepared are you and your team? As a leader, it is important for you to think from a team perspective.
Yeah.
Right? How can you facilitate this process? How can you support your team to manage their next part of the journey?
Yeah.
Facilitate the journey. The reason why I say this is it's very important to facilitate the journey. So in that context, whether it happens or not, I always encourage my team to do something outside of their comfort zone.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Even on the day-to-day projects that they do, I would encourage them to do things outside of their comfort zone so that there is a continuous learning and a training process. They should not they should feel comfortable if there is a change comes in, and then they should be able to pick up something new.
Absolutely.
I believe this is very important.
I think great.
That's how I look at it, Ravi.
Great tips, Suresh. I think wonderful leader. Because what I've seen, and we've spoken on this before, is that once an employee comes out because of a layoff, there's a lot of churn which happens within, and they tend to be pretty bitter with respect to the corporate which they have worked. And for example, people might have worked for 5, 10, 15 years at a corporate, and suddenly it happens out of the blue. They tend to be pretty negative about the corporate as such. And I think I heard you actually giving a different perspective and that's something which I want you to talk about.
See again, I mean, let's be fair to the organization, right? Yeah. When I get a better opportunity, I also move from the current organization where I have worked for 5, 10 years into the newer organization because I see a growth and opportunity for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So in that context, if I apply the same logic from an organizational point of view, what the organization does is for the broader, bigger goal where the organization is accountable for.
Absolutely.
Okay. So in that context, please take the change. Change is eventual, and this change will happen. Right. So take the change and be prepared for the change.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So and in my view, I do not just look at it from my own perspective. I look at this from my team's perspective as well.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I mean, that's how I manage this part of the change, Ravi.
Yeah, that helps a lot, Suresh. I think one of the last few questions I should say is on who has the largest influence for you professionally and personally. Who are the leaders who have actually influenced you professionally, and then anyone personally as well?
Very good question. Very good question. Professionally, I've been blessed with some of the nicest of the managers.
Right.
Nicest of the managers. I would like to call out one of my first hiring manager, Mr. Daniel Devaraj, is no more. Right. But having said that, fantastic leader. Fantastic leader. For him, people used to come first. Okay, people used to come first, and then that's my learning in the aspect. Right. Even if there is stress, I have seen him. It so happened that that was my initial part of my journey after my MBA. It so happened that I used to sit next to him and we used to talk a lot. It was very evident, even if there is stress, he manages the stress and let his people focus on the delivery aspects. Excellent. Yeah. As an organization, we went through a huge transformation, change. Right. It was early 2000. We went through a huge change. The first thing he did was he made his people. He made sure that the people under him are secure. Right. He made sure everyone is secure, and that he also grew in the process. Absolutely. Right. He stood up as a leader. So he was a great influencer for me in my initial days of my career, and then growing up into my journey. And these are some of the philosophies that went in very deep in me, saying that, hey, this is the way a leader should be. Absolutely. Absolutely. And of course, I mean, personally as well, I've been blessed with some of the finest teachers in all the institutions where I have studied. So they have been great influences. Great. And the parents as well, because it's the parents who imbibe good values in us. So they have also been a great influence in the way we are and the way I am and the way we conduct things.
Absolutely, Suresh. Thanks so much. So we did talk about digital finance strategy. You had a very, very different take on how innovation actually takes up, and we looked at layoffs. We looked at how do we prepare, and then we looked at who are the persons or people who have actually influenced you, Suresh. So I'm really happy that you spent so much time, Suresh. This will be up within a week, and we will see. Let's see if we can have a part two, maybe in a month or 2 months, depending on your time. But thanks a lot for your time, Suresh. Lovely insights. I think people are going to enjoy this podcast without question. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Ravi. Thanks for the opportunity, and it was my pleasure connecting back to you. Thank you so much, and all the best with all the initiatives that you're running in. Take care. All the best.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.